The sky above Calta Prime burned red as the enemy moved across the land like a dark wave. Nothing stopped them. Nothing slowed them. The people called these creatures the Voidskins, monsters with bodies like smoke and armor that swallowed light. Every defense line on Calta Prime had already fallen. The planetary shields collapsed in the first hour. The orbital fleets vanished in the second. By the third hour, the leaders knew the truth. They were losing their world. Inside the High Council chamber, alarms echoed through the marble halls. Screens showed cities burning, towers falling, and civilians running through the ruins. Every passing minute, the Voidskins grew closer to the capital. The council members stood in panic. Some shouted orders. Some cried. Some simply stared at the destruction, frozen with fear. At the center of the room stood Aaron, the leader of Calta Prime. His voice shook as he looked at the communications officer. "Send the signal," he said. "Send it to every allied world. Send it to every peaceful race. Anyone who can hear us." The officer pressed the keys and a message shot across the galaxy. Requesting soldiers, requesting help, anyone. Then silence. Hours passed. Then a full day. Then two. No answer. No hope. The Voidskins pushed closer to the main city, destroying everything in their path. The screams of the dying could be heard even inside the council chamber. Aaron felt his heart break. He wondered if anyone would survive long enough to escape. Maybe Calta Prime would become just another dead planet, another name on the long list of worlds consumed by the Voidskins. But then, on the third day, a single light blinked on the communication screen. A voice spoke through static. "Earth received your call." Every alien in the chamber turned toward the screen. Humans? Many had heard stories about them, but few had met them. Aaron felt hope rising in his chest. Humans were strong. Humans were brave. Maybe they would send soldiers, maybe they would send ships, maybe they would help the way legends said they did. Then the message continued. "Prepare landing zone for Division 9. Aaron blinked. "Division 9? He whispered. "What is Division 9? No one answered. No one knew. A historian rushed forward, fear in his eyes. He held an old data tablet with files from the early days of the Galactic Network. "Sir, I found something," he said, voice shaking. He turned the screen around. There was only one line written in faded text. "Division 9 is not deployed. It is released." The council fell silent. Released? Like a weapon? Released, like something too dangerous to control? Panic spread faster than fire. Council members shouted again. Some begged Aaron to cancel the request. Others said it was too late. The signal had already reached Earth. And then, it happened. The skies over Calta Prime turned black. Not from smoke, but from ships. Massive Earth vessels entered orbit, silent, without lights, without markings. They looked like giant shadows floating in the sky. Even the Voidskins paused for a moment, confused. On the ground, the landing zone trembled as one of the ships descended. Dust and rocks blasted outward as its engines cooled. The aliens watched from behind heavy shields, unsure of what they were about to see. A ramp lowered. Metal footsteps echoed. The first human stepped out. There was no smile. No greeting. No sign of peace. The human wore black armor, thick, heavy, and covered in strange symbols. Their helmet had a single red visor that glowed like a predator's eye. More humans followed, each one moving with slow, controlled steps, as if they had done this 1,000 times. They did not look like soldiers. They looked like hunters. Aaron felt his breath stop. His mind raced with fear and confusion. Was this truly the help they had asked for? The human leader walked straight toward him. Every step was calm, steady, powerful. When they spoke, their voice sounded cold, almost empty. "We are Division 9, the commander said. "Show us where the enemy breathes." Aaron swallowed hard. These humans were not here to protect. They were here to end something. Whispers spread through the alien crowd. Even the bravest warriors felt their legs weaken. "These are not soldiers," one alien whispered. "They walk like killers," another said. "They are too calm," someone added. Then finally, a trembling voice spoke the words everyone felt. "These are not soldiers, these are executioners." Far in the distance, the Voidskins roared as they attacked again. Division 9 turned toward the sound. Their commander spoke only 2 words. "Leave none." Then the humans moved, fast, silent, deadly. The ground shook as they marched forward. The air grew colder. And the aliens understood a terrible truth. Humanity did not answer their call with hope. Humanity answered with its deadliest creation. The unexpected war had begun. Division 9 moved like a shadow spreading across the battlefield. There was no shouting, no panic, no wasted motion. Each human stepped with cold confidence, as if they had walked this path many times before. Their armor absorbed the faint blue light from the alien towers, turning them into dark silhouettes against the burning sky. Aaron watched from behind the barrier wall with the other leaders of Calta Prime. Fear settled in his chest. He had expected help, maybe soldiers with courage and hope. But what stood before him now felt different. These humans carried no warmth, no fear, no emotion. They moved like tools built only for death. As the humans advanced, a strange silence grew around them. Even the wind felt afraid to touch them. Far in the distance, the void skins roared again, a deep, distorted echo that sounded like metal grinding against bone. The aliens of Calta Prime trembled at the sound. The void skins had destroyed cities, crushed armies, and silenced entire continents. But Division 9 did not slow. They walked toward the roar with steady steps as if they were walking home. Aaron turned to his advisor. Should we follow? Should we help them? The advisor shook his head quickly. No, not us. We would only get in their way. Those words felt heavy and frightening. The first clash. The battlefield was a broken wasteland of ash and shattered stone. Smoke rose in thick columns mixing with the red sky. The void skins moved like flowing shadows, tall, twisted creatures with shifting armor and razor-like limbs. They made no sound except the horrible hum that filled the air when they were close. The void skins sensed the humans approaching. They turned. They charged. The ground cracked under their weight. Dark tendrils shot out of their bodies like living weapons. But Division 9 did not raise shields. They did not run. They simply spread out, forming a silent attack line. The first void skin leaped through the air, bringing a blade-like arm down on the human commander. In one smooth motion, the commander stepped aside. The creature hit the ground. A flash of silver. A clean, sharp sound. And the void skin's head separated from its body. It happened so fast the alien observers gasped. The creature, one of the deadliest beings in the galaxy, fell like a broken toy. Division 9 did not pause. They advanced again. More void skins rushed forward, hundreds at once, forming a tidal wave of dark bodies. Their screeching hum filled the air until the sky itself seemed to vibrate. But the humans moved with deadly precision. One human unleashed a weapon that crackled with blue sparks, slicing through dozens of void skins in a single sweep. Another kicked a giant void skin aside like it weighed nothing. A squad of humans moved between the creatures, striking every weak point with perfect accuracy. They were not fighting. They were erasing. Aaron felt his stomach twist. This was not a battle. This was an execution. His people had asked for help. But maybe they had asked for something too powerful. The observers' fear. Behind the barrier wall, alien scientists watched the live battlefield feeds. They zoomed in on the humans trying to understand how they moved so fast, so cleanly. Look at their armor, one whispered. It changes shape when they move. No, it adapts, another corrected. It reads the battlefield. The historian who had found the old file about Division 9 stepped back from the screen. Now I understand, he said, voice shaking. Division 9 was never made for protection. It was made for extinction. Aaron looked at him. Extinction of what? The historian swallowed. Whatever they are ordered to destroy. The words felt like ice. Aaron stared back at the battlefield. The humans moved through the void skins like a storm of blades and fire. Not a single human fell. Not a single movement was wasted. Each step, each strike looked like it had been practiced 1,000 times. It was as if they had trained their whole lives to kill this exact enemy. But how? How could they know the void skins' weaknesses? How could they fight with such perfection against a species they had never met? Unless this was not their first time. Aaron felt a dark thought enter his mind. What if Division 9 was sent to other worlds before? What if those worlds never spoke about it, because no one survived to speak? The calm after the slaughter. After just 1 hour, the battlefield fell silent. The void skins were gone, every creature cut down, burned, or shattered into pieces. Division 9 stood in the smoke, their armor glowing faintly from the heat of battle. They did not cheer. They did not rest. They simply stood still, scanning the ruins for any survivors. Aaron forced himself to walk toward them. Fear crawled up his spine with every step. When he reached the human commander, he realized something terrifying. The commander wasn't tired. Not even breathing hard. As if the entire battle had been nothing to them. Aaron gathered his courage. You killed them all. In 1 hour. The human commander looked at him through the red visor. We ended the first wave. Aaron's heart dropped. The first wave? The commander nodded. The voidskins you saw today were scouts. Their main force is approaching from orbit. Aaron felt the world tilt around him. How many? He whispered. The commander answered calmly. Millions. A cold silence spread through the air. Aaron's people could barely survive a single voidskin wave. And now millions were coming? Do not fear, the human commander said as if reading Aaron's thoughts. Division 9 is here. The words were meant to bring comfort. But instead, Aaron felt something darker. Because the commander's voice did not sound hopeful. It sounded hungry. Division 9 turned back toward their ship, preparing new weapons, new machines, new horrors for the battle to come. The humans had come to help. But Aaron now understood a terrible thing. When Division 9 arrives, the enemy dies. And if necessary, so does everything else. Smoke drifted across the ruined fields of Calta Prime as the sun slowly fell behind the mountains. The light faded but fear did not. Every alien on the planet could feel it, the heavy pressure in the air, the silent warning that something far worse was coming. The voidskins had only sent scouts. Millions more were on the way. Aaron stood on the balcony of the command tower, staring at the night sky. The stars that once looked beautiful now felt sharp and cold. Somewhere above them, the main voidskin swarm moved through space, preparing to crush the last life on Calta Prime. But Aaron's fear was no longer focused only on the enemy. His eyes drifted toward the human encampment outside the city walls. Division 9 had set up their base in silence. No noise. No shouting. No panic. The humans moved like machines, each step calculated, each action controlled. Their black armor glowed faintly under the blue camp lights. Their faces, when visible, showed nothing. No emotion. Only focus. Aaron whispered to himself. What kind of soldiers never rest? The silent human base. Alien scouts observed from a safe distance. They watched in confusion as the humans unpacked strange devices. Tall metal structures with rotating blue rings. Dark boxes sealed with glowing red locks. Heavy armored crates that thudded like hearts when moved. Massive cannons that folded open like mechanical wings. Every object looked dangerous. But the strangest thing was how quiet Division 9 remained. Not a single unnecessary word passed between them. One soldier carried a weapon twice his size without difficulty. Another connected cables that pulsed like living veins. A group calibrated devices that hummed with a deep, unsettling rhythm. Aaron's advisor whispered beside him, "They do not act like soldiers. They act like engineers of destruction." Aaron swallowed. What are they preparing? The historian stepped forward, trembling. I think they are preparing for the swarm. But will it be enough? Aaron asked. The historian hesitated. Enough to stop the voidskins? Perhaps. But the question is, what price will we pay? The human commander's warning. Aaron walked down to the human base, trying to gather courage. He found the commander standing beside a massive crate. The commander was checking the seals with fast, expert movements. Aaron approached slowly. Commander, my people need to know what comes next. The human paused. He lifted his helmet, revealing a calm, hard face. Eyes sharp as steel. Night is their strongest hour, the commander said. The main swarm is hours away. Aaron felt his chest tighten. Can we hold the city? The human's answer came instantly. No. Aaron froze. Then what? We are not defending the city, the commander said. We are preparing a trap. Aaron's voice shook. A trap? For millions. Yes. Aaron stared in disbelief. How? The commander tapped the dark crate beside him. With ease. Before Aaron could ask more, the crate locks glowed red and hissed open. The walls unfolded like petals of a deadly flower. Inside were rows of slim, silver devices, each one shaped like a sharp spear, each one humming softly. What are these? Aaron whispered. The commander answered without emotion. Void breakers. Aaron felt the air grow cold around him. Are they bombs? He asked. No, the commander replied. They are worse. Division 9's night deployment. As darkness took over the land, Division 9 spread out across the ruined fields. They moved with silent speed, placing the void breakers deep into the ground. Aaron and his advisors watched from the tower. What do these weapons do? An advisor asked. The historian checked the old files again and turned pale. They do not explode. They do not burn. They do not break metal. Then what? Aaron asked. The historian swallowed hard. They erase. A cold shiver ran through everyone. Something comes through the dark. Near midnight, the ground began to vibrate. Soft at first, then stronger, then powerful enough to shake buildings. The void-skin swarm had reached the edge of Calta Prime. Arin rushed to the balcony. He stared into the dark plains beyond the city. At first he saw nothing. Then he saw movement. A black wave rolled across the land, spreading in all directions. Millions of void-skins shifted through the darkness, their armor glowing with faint purple light. Eyes like burning coals blinked in the dark. The sound they made, their deep, horrible hum, grew louder and louder until the air trembled. Arin felt terror grip his heart. "This is the end," an alien whispered behind him. But Arin noticed something strange. Division 9 did not look afraid. They simply waited. Weapons ready. Void breakers armed. Eyes calm. The first contact. The void skin wave rushed forward, thundering across the battlefield. Then something unusual happened. They stopped. Every single creature froze where it stood. Division 9 did not move either. It was as if the battlefield itself was holding its breath. Arin whispered, Why are they stopping?" The human commander stepped forward, lifting one hand. A signal. A silent command. "Now," he said. The trap springs shut. The ground exploded, but not with fire. Not with light. Not with sound. Instead, a strange silence spread outward, devouring everything it touched. The void breakers sent out waves of invisible energy. Wherever the waves passed, reality itself seemed to twist. Void skins dissolved like smoke. Their armor cracked like glass. Their bodies unraveled, piece by piece, into nothing. Not dead. Not broken. Erased. Millions of void skins vanished in seconds. A massive shockwave tore across the plain, flattening everything in its path. Buildings shook. Mountains cracked. The sky glowed with a strange, unnatural light. Arin collapsed to his knees. This is impossible. But Division 9 stood in the middle of the storm, untouched, unmoved. The human commander lowered his hand. Phase 1 complete. Arin looked at the humans and felt something worse than fear. He felt awe. He felt dread. And in that moment he realized the truth. If Division 9 could erase the void. The shockwave faded slowly, leaving behind a dead, silent landscape. The plain where millions of void skins once stood was now empty. No bodies, no dust, no remains. Only a smooth, glass-like surface spread across the ground, shining under the pale moon. Arin stared at the impossible sight with wide eyes. What kind of weapon erased an entire army? His breath trembled as he whispered, This is not war. This is something else." Beside him, the alien advisors whispered prayers. Some stepped back, afraid to look at the humans standing calmly in the destruction they created. Division 9 did not celebrate. They simply checked their weapons, adjusted their armor, and waited for the next command, like shadows carved into the night. Arin gathered the courage to walk toward the human commander once more. His legs shook, but he forced himself forward. When he reached the commander, he stopped several meters away. He did not dare come closer. The commander turned his head slightly. "Yes, Arin?" Even the way he spoke sounded controlled. "Cold. Empty." Arin pointed at the glassed battlefield. How many void skins did that destroy?" The commander replied without hesitation. "Approximately 4 million." Arin felt his heart almost stop. 4 million, erased like dust? His voice cracked. "What kind of technology is this? We have never seen weapons like these." The commander looked at him for a long, silent moment. "Because they are not weapons made for war, Arin." Arin frowned. "Not for war? Then what?" "They are made for extermination." The word hit Arin like a blade. Extermination? Not just killing. Not fighting. Ending things. Before he could question further, one of the humans approached. "Commander. They are moving." Arin felt cold run down his spine. We destroyed millions of them." The human soldier shook his head. "That was only the front. The swarm core is still coming." Arin stepped back horrified. "There are more." "Many more," the commander said. "Millions more." Arin felt hopelessness crush his chest. "How can we survive something like that?" The commander picked up a black device from his belt. "That depends on how long your world can hold," he said. The second swarm arrives. The ground began to tremble again, this time harder, stronger. The rumbling grew like thunder rolling across stone. Arin ran back to the tower with the other leaders. From the balcony they could see it. A dark mass covering the horizon. A living, shifting wall of armored bodies. The void skins were coming again. But this time, they were different. Larger. Faster. angrier. The first wave had been scouts. The second wave was the real army. Millions of purple, glowing eyes lit up the plains. Their deep hum vibrated the entire city. Buildings shook. Windows cracked. Children cried in the underground shelters. "The planet will break before we do," an advisor whispered. Aaron felt sweat on his palms. His heart raced. How can humans fight this many? They cannot erase all of them. But deep inside he was not sure. Division 9 walked calmly to the front line. Not running. Not afraid. Just walking like they were returning to work. Aaron watched them with trembling breath. The mechs of Division 9. Then the ground behind the humans opened. Massive metal doors sliding apart with a roar. Something rose from beneath the earth. At first, Aaron thought it was a building. Then he realized it was moving. A giant metal form lifted itself into the night sky. A human war mech, taller than a tower, with armor as black as space itself. Then a second. A third. 6 mechs rose in total, standing like giant steel monsters. Each mech's chest glowed with red energy. Each one carried weapons larger than alien ships. Aaron's voice shook. What are these things?" The historian whispered in fear. "I found reference to them in the old files, but I hoped they were myths." Aaron turned. "What are they called?" The historian answered. "Titan-class execution frames." Aaron felt the blood drain from his face. Execution frames? Not defense machines. Not protection tools. Machines built to carry out death. The Battle of the Titans. The void-skin swarm surged forward, millions of bodies crashing together like a storm of claws and shadows. The 6 mechs stepped forward. Their movements shook the earth. One mech slammed its fist into the ground. A pulse of red energy spread outward, vaporizing thousands of void-skins instantly. Another mech raised its arm and fired a beam of white-hot light that cut through the swarm like a blade through water. The battlefield became chaos. Explosions shook the world. Energy blasts lit up the sky. Void-skins screamed as they dissolved into dark dust. Division 9 soldiers moved with the mechs, cutting down anything that broke through the Titan lines. They fought with perfect coordination like a single mind split into many bodies. Aaron watched the unimaginable destruction and whispered, Is this the real power of humanity?" A darker revelation. But something strange happened. The mechs began to glow brighter. Their armor cracked slightly, releasing bright red light. Their movements grew faster, almost too fast. Aaron looked at the historian. "What is happening to them?" The historian checked the files again, and his voice broke. No, this is not right." Aaron grabbed him. "What is happening?" The historian whispered. "These mechs, they are not made to last. They burn themselves alive during battle." Aaron's eyes widened. "What? Why?" "Because they are designed to fight threats that cannot be allowed to survive," the historian said. "They destroy themselves so they can destroy everything around them." Aaron stared back at the battlefield in terror. Humans had built machines that gave up their lives to kill. No mercy. No limits. He realized something even more terrifying. If these machines were ever pointed at Calta Prime, the entire planet would vanish. The swarm weakens. After an hour of destruction, the Void-Skin army began to fall apart. Their numbers dropped from millions to thousands, then hundreds, then dozens. The mechs crushed the last Void-Skin with a single stomp. Silence fell. Smoke drifted across the land. The entire battlefield glowed red from the heat. Aaron watched Division 9 stand among the ruins, still calm, still silent. They had destroyed a force that could end galaxies. They had fought like monsters, like executioners. And Aaron now understood the most frightening truth of all. Humanity had saved his world. But at any moment, they could also end it. The air around the landing zone felt heavier now. Even the wind seemed afraid to blow near Division 9. Aaron tried to speak again, trying to gather courage. We welcome you to Calta Prime," he said, voice shaking slightly. The executioner leader tilted his head as if the words were strange to him. "We are not here for welcome," he replied. "We are here for the kill." Every alien in the area stiffened. The executioners suddenly stopped moving. They stood still, completely still, as if hearing something far away. A metallic voice came from one of their helmets. "Contact detected. East Ridge. 7 signatures. Void type." Before anyone could react, the executioners split into 2 groups and vanished into the trees. No sound, no footsteps, nothing. The aliens blinked in confusion. Aaron looked at his guards. Did you see them run?" "No," one guard whispered. "They did not run. They disappeared." Minutes passed. The forest stayed quiet. Too quiet. Then a sound, soft, low, like wet fabric sliding on metal. A void skin. Arin froze. The shadows stretched near the ridge. Black shapes crawled from the rocks. Skin like smoke. Eyes like empty holes. They moved like liquid darkness. 7 void skins. The aliens grabbed their weapons, but fear made their hands weak. The void skins hissed, recognizing fear instantly. They attacked. But halfway down the ridge something changed. A single bullet tore through the first void skin's head. Another bullet hit the second. A loud crack exploded in the forest. Then silence. The void skins stopped moving. All 7. One by one their bodies fell, dead before they touched the ground. Division 9 walked out of the shadows, weapons glowing faint orange from heat. No breathing. No adrenaline. No emotion. Arin whispered in shock. 7 void skins, killed in seconds. The executioner leader approached the dead creatures. He crouched, inspecting the bodies. No learning, he muttered. They are repeating the same attack patterns. He stood up and looked at Arin. They have adapted poorly. This planet is not ready for what comes next. Arin felt his chest tighten. If this was not the real threat, what was? The leader turned to his team. Set perimeter mines. Prepare night protocols. Void skins hunt stronger after dark. The alien's eyes widened. What? They get stronger? The leader answered calmly. Yes. And they multiply. The historian choked. Multiply? How fast? The leader's visor glowed slightly as he checked a reading. Every hour. Arin's legs felt weak. If the void skins multiplied every hour, the planet was already lost. But the executioner leader spoke again, voice colder than ice. Do not be afraid of the void skins. He looked toward the sky as if sensing something huge moving far above. Be afraid of the one controlling them. Arin swallowed. Who controls them? The leader's voice dropped to a whisper. The Void Emperor. Lightning cracked across the darkening sky. Thunder rolled like the growl of some giant beast waking from sleep. The air temperature dropped. The wind slowed. Animals went silent. And then, a giant shadow appeared above the clouds. Not a ship. Not a creature. Something in between. Something ancient. Something full of hate. Arin felt his heart stop for a moment. The executioner leader spoke without emotion, as if announcing simple weather. He has arrived. Arin turned toward the humans in horror. You can fight that? The leader lifted his weapon and checked the charge. We were not sent to fight him. Arin's voice cracked. Then why were you sent? The leader finally looked directly at him. We were sent to kill him. And as the shadow above the clouds grew larger, the planet trembled. The war had truly begun. The shadow in the clouds kept growing, slow, silent, like a nightmare taking shape. Every creature on Calta Prime felt it. Birds fled. Animals hid. Even the wind seemed to run away. Arin stared up, unable to breathe. What is that? The executioner leader did not blink. The Void Emperor. The one who destroyed your fleets. The one who consumes planets. A rumble shook the ground. It was not thunder. It was a heartbeat. A massive, slow heartbeat. Like something alive, inside the clouds. The alien stepped backward. The executioner leader raised one hand. Hold position. Do not run. Running will only make him watch you. The aliens froze in terror. Another heartbeat echoed across the sky, stronger this time. Then the clouds cracked open. A huge eye appeared. Not a normal eye. An eye made of shifting darkness, spiraling, endless, swallowing light itself. The entire planet seemed to tilt as the giant eye looked down. Arin felt his knees weaken. He sees us. The executioner leader stepped forward, not afraid. He sees me. Suddenly, the Void Emperor's voice rolled through the air. It did not sound like a voice, more like layers of whispers stacked on top of screams. Earth has sent the hunters. The ground trembled. Rocks split. Air thinned. The aliens clutched their heads from the pressure. But Division 9 stood straight, unaffected. The Void Emperor continued, voice shaking the sky. You return again, executioners, after all these years. Arin turned sharply. Years? You fought him before? The leader answered calmly. Yes. What? We failed. The aliens stared at the humans in shock. Division 9 had fought a godlike enemy before, and lost. The Void Emperor's massive shadow reached across the entire valley now. This world is mine. Leave the prey, and I will let you live. Division 9 did not move. The executioner leader spoke loudly, voice like steel. We did not come to live. His visor glowed blood red. We came to finish what we started. The Void Emperor laughed. A horrible sound like metal crushing bone. Then die with them. Dark tendrils erupted from the clouds, huge, storm-black shapes whipping downward. They struck the ground like falling mountains. The aliens screamed and dove for cover. But Division 9 charged toward the impact. Aaron watched in disbelief as the humans moved faster than any creature he'd seen. Their cloaks flickered, their boots barely touched the ground. They fired in rapid bursts, energy shots ripping into the tendrils. Each blast cut through darkness like slicing wet tissue. But more tendrils came. Hundreds. Thousands. Aaron's mind broke for a moment. We are doomed. The historian grabbed him. No. Watch the humans. Aaron looked again. The executioner leader leaped straight onto a falling tendril, digging a blade into the living darkness. The creature shrieked as the leader climbed upward, using the tendril like a bridge. Another soldier activated something on their chest, turning invisible and firing explosives from midair. Another grabbed a fallen alien and dragged them away seconds before a tendril slammed the ground. This wasn't fighting. This was controlled destruction. Aaron whispered, "They are not human?" The historian shook his head. "No, they are human. But they are humans made for only one purpose." A new alarm sounded from Division 9's commander. Phase 2. Ground breach. South sector. A deep crack opened in the earth, like the planet was splitting. Something crawled out. Not void skins. Something bigger. Taller than trees. Skin like molten stone. Eyes like deep hollows filled with fire. The executioner leader landed on the ground and shouted. Titan-class void spawn. All units, engage. The giant creature roared, shaking the mountains. Aaron felt the vibration in his bones. How do we fight that? He whispered. The executioner leader answered without turning around. You don't. He raised his weapon. We do. And then Division 9 charged the Titan. The Void Emperor, still floating above the clouds, watched with interest. Like a god watching insects fight. But the executioners fought like demons. Precise. Cold. Relentless. Aaron felt something strange, something he had not felt since the invasion began. Oh. But then. The Void Emperor lowered his enormous hand toward the battlefield. The sky turned darker, so dark it felt like night had swallowed the world. The Void Emperor whispered, "Let me show Earth real fear." Something huge began forming behind him. Something even the executioners did not expect. Aaron saw the leader's visor flicker. For the first time. For the smallest second. The executioner leader hesitated. Whatever was coming next was worse than anything before.